maybe install a keyboard sniffer, wait till you log into your bank account, I don't know. But here, it's really easy to think about how I would make money. I take over your avatar, I steal all your Linden dollars, I cash them out for real dollars, and I turn off my computer, right? So it's just a real opportunistic way to, if you're a bad guy, that you can make money quickly without having to get all messy with the way that you normally have to do things. Is this my time to talk?
I think it's your time.
Okay. So the other thing that's interesting is that people really get obsessed with their avatars. So it's sort of fun to take their avatars over and do things that they don't necessarily want to do. So people can really associate themselves with their avatars. Like this woman here, her avatar was assaulted by these flying penises, and like I thought it was hilarious, and she actually sued the people to take down the video. So I mean, this is like, what do I care if a cartoon representation of me has flying penises flying by, right? But she really is. She was really offended by that. And my wife tells me the story about she knows this sex education person who went to this conference. It was like a role-playing game conference or something, and he was explaining to them about like real sex education. And this guy stood up and he's like, so when I'm an elf, I can't get those diseases though, right? And the guy was like, what do you mean when you're an elf? And he'd always maybe joking, but the guy was dead serious. He's like, no, when I'm an elf, I can't get sick, right? And so anyway, like people like, can really associate with their avatars, and if you all of a sudden make their avatar walk around and do things that they don't want them to do, they can really freak out. Okay. The other thing is that a lot of the stuff in like World of Warcraft, for example, is you fight people, and you have to spend a long time getting ready, and it's hard, and people are good at it. Well, why bother with all that work if you can just take over their computer and make them stand still, and you can just walk up and take your time and kill them. And the other thing that's interesting is, and for me, exploits mean you take over someone's computer. A lot of people care about denial of services. I usually don't. But here's a case where denial of service can be cool. So if I can just knock you off your account, and then I can kill you while you're trying to log back on, that works too. So denial of service in virtual worlds is maybe just as useful as real exploits. The other thing, and I sort of mentioned this earlier, was if there's real money associated with these virtual accounts, then it's easy to steal. So in Second Life, there's actually a way in Second Life that you can change. You can pay for Linden dollars and you can cash them out too. And every U.S. dollar is 275 Linden dollars. World of Warcraft, you used to kind of be able to do that, but now it's sort of, you're not supposed to, but there's still ways you can do it, and there's websites that you can go to, and this is the exchange rate for that. It's about 15 gold for a U.S. dollar.
They even have a stock exchange in Second Life right now, so you can actually trade Second Life or buy stock in Second Life companies and trade them online.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about Second Life, but we're just going to say a little more about it. So it's free. If you want to own like huge pieces of land, you have to pay some monthly fee. It's supposed to be immersive, so you can create objects. You can make your avatar look however you want. You can put video and sound, so you can have like a rockin' party. You can write scripts so that the objects do things. You can talk with your voice between players. Dino was saying he was testing out the exploit the other night, and some dudes came walking by and they were talking French to each other.
Yeah.
So it's sort of interesting. And of course, the reason that I was attracted to this as a target was the fact that there's real money involved. Well, sort of real money. All right, so how do you attack Second Life? Well, the viewer, it's just a client program, so just like any client-side attack, you just have to find a bug. The problem is you have to get malicious data from the attacker's computer to the client. There's lots of ways you can do that. So you can design an object or clothes or your hair or whatever, and when their computer looks at you, it's going to render that data. You can chat to them. Just say something to them. There's actually ways in Second Life that you can ask them. You can give them a URL, and if they agree, it'll spawn a browser and take them to a website. But of course, it's sort of complicated because almost all your interactions are going to go to the Second Life server and then to the other person. So there's a sort of intermediate layer that you have to worry about. And this is what it looks like. So if I want to say hi to the people in my vicinity, so I tell the server, Second Life server, hey, I want to say hi. And then the server says, hey, this guy said hi to you. So you can see that it might be hard to get the right data to the victims because that data comes from the server. And there's also a chance that the Second Life servers might crash if you send malicious data intended for the victim. And also, even if you came up with an attack, if the Second Life folks figured it out, they could see the data passing through their servers and filter it, or log it and call the feds or something. So that's not good. But it's different if you try to embed multimedia into objects in Second Life. This is how it works. So the attacker will associate a media object with a URL. So Second Life doesn't want to have to hold all the media. So every movie in Second Life, they don't want to have to store that. So they let the designers hold that information. So I associate an object with the URL. Then whenever any of the victims walk near my object, the Second Life servers tell them, hey, there's media at URL. You should go get it and play it. So then the victims say, okay. They go to that URL and then they try to play it. So this is a way that the attacker can talk directly to the victim. So it doesn't have to go through the Second Life servers, which is better. So the media that's delivered is completely controlled by me, the attacker. I can choose when I want to deliver it. I can choose who I want to deliver it to. So like maybe if I see a Second Life IP address come to my server, I don't give them the bad file. I only give the regular folks the bad file. Also, the data never goes through the Second Life server, so they don't really have insight into what I'm doing. They can't log what I'm doing. They can't filter what I'm doing. And that's really basically what happened when we reported this bug to them. Their only option was to tell people to turn off video on their clients. They could shut off video on the whole world, but they didn't want to do that. So there wasn't much they could do. All right, so that means we should probably focus our attention on multimedia in Second Life because it's the most effective way to give the data to them. What ways can you do that? Well, there's two ways basically. So generic media is handled by a QuickTime API, so they use the regular QuickTime player engine to run this. And then for just sound, pure sound, they use fmod. So what's QuickTime's relationship to Second Life? Well, it's actually completely separate. So when you download and install Second Life, it doesn't come with QuickTime or anything. You have to do that separately. Although they totally encourage you to do that. It's the only way you can watch media is to have QuickTime installed. QuickTime is pretty cool. It supports basically every image format, video format, sound format you've ever heard of except M or WMB. And everything that QuickTime supports, Second Life supports because they just are using that engine. And this is like something they're probably not even aware of, that it actually, you can, even though you're supposed to only put images there, you can actually make QuickTime run sound files too. So if you found a bug in QuickTime that revolved around sounds, even though they intend fmod to do sounds, you could still get them with QuickTime. Okay. What's this fmod thing? I had never heard of it until we started looking at this, but it turns out it's a library that's used by basically every game. So here's a list of games that use this fmod library. So a lot of games you would have heard of. World of Warcraft and Second Life obviously do. This version of fmod is 3.7.4 that Second Life comes with. It's basically you can download the binary for free. If you want source code, you gotta pay them $1,500. So probably not worth it. It supports your basic sound format, so MP2, MP3, so on. Okay, so there's Second Life viewers, open source and all that, so you can read it, look for bugs, but like I said, because of the whole way that multimedia is done in Second Life, it's probably better to find a bug in the multimedia engines. So instead of worrying about Second Life, let's just strip out QuickTime, strip out fmod, and find bugs in those. They're only binaries, so you can still do static analysis, but I like fuzzing. So how do you fuzz these things? Well, QuickTime, you just fuzz it like you would any client program. So you could use file fuzz, spike file, whatever. You can do it on a Mac or Linux, whatever you're comfortable with. So, or Windows, I guess I didn't even mention that. Who would, what security person would use Windows? And then fmod, same thing. So you can download. There's an API for it. It comes with a little sample app which I modified, and you can fuzz. So, and this is what it looks like. You can just run this little program on millions and millions of these fuzzed MP3s or whatever, and you can try to find bugs that way.
So,
but we didn't have to